First, we import the necessary decorators and modules from Angular Core and Angular Forms. Component is used to define a class as an Angular component. FormBuilder is a service that provides a way to create and manage forms. Form group and validators are used for grouping form controls and for validating input data, respectively. With the component decorator, we define the selector, which is used in the template HTML to instantiate this component. We also specify the locations of the template and styles for this component. Here we're creating the myStepper component class. We declare a variable as linear which determines if the stepper will require the user to complete one step before moving to the next. We set this to false, allowing the user to navigate between steps freely. In the constructor, we inject FormBuilder as _FormBuilder, which we will use to create instances of form group. ng_on_init is a lifecycle hook that gets called after Angular has initialized the component. Inside, we use the FormBuilder to create two form group instances for our stepper. Each form group has one control, first CTRL and second CTRL respectively, each initialized with an empty string and marked as required using validators required. Now looking at the template, we start with the mat horizontal stepper element. The linear property is set to the isLinear variable that controls if the stepper should be linear or not. Each mat step represents an individual step in our stepper. The step control input is bound to our first form group which holds the state and validation for this step. Here we use the Angular Forms API to bind our first form group to the form element using the form group directive. Inside our form, we have an input field with the mat input directive, a placeholder text, and it's linked to our first form group via the form control name directive. We also have a next button that when clicked, will trigger the stepper to go to the next step. It uses the mat stepper next directive provided by Angular material. Similarly, in the second step, we have a back button that allows users to navigate back to the previous step. It uses the mat stepper previous directive. At the end of our stepper, we have a final step with a simple message indicating completion. The mat step label directive is used to label the step in the stepper header.